It's 2022, and since No Way Home was released, we have been living in the Andrew Garfield renaissance, man.
Happy New Year!
And it seems like the internet just can't get enough of the guy. I mean, who can blame him? Look at him! So that's why we wanted to do a video on the man taking the world by storm right now and give you some interesting facts you may not have known about him. Well, let's take a journey to the Garfield of dreams. Does that pun make sense? I don't think that pun makes sense.
I get the reference, and I don't appreciate it.
While there are many people out there that see Andrew Garfield as a certified heartthrob, there are still a few that somehow don't see the appeal, including a bunch of producers who didn't think he was particularly good looking. Apparently, Andrew Garfield was absolutely desperate to play the part of Prince Caspian in the Narnia movies, and after auditioning for the part, kept calling up his agent to see whether or not he got it. However, he was rejected for the role, and after nagging his agent asking why not me, she eventually revealed that they didn't think that he was handsome enough for the role, and instead gave the part to, admittedly, another certified heartthrob, Ben Barnes. While the not being handsome enough note was probably a bit of a kick in the teeth, Garfield was apparently pretty gracious about the whole situation and holds no grudge with Barnes, saying, "Ben Barnes is a very handsome, talented man." So, in retrospect, I'm not unhappy with the decision, and I think he did a beautiful job. This entry contains spoilers for No Way Home, so if you still haven't seen the movie yet, like me because theaters are still closed, make sure to skip the next 2 chapters. For anyone who has seen No Way Home, you'll still probably have goosebumps from the moment that Garfield and Tobey Maguire made their entry into the MCU as the one and only Spider-Man. Well, there's more than one, but you know what I mean. Anyway, because their inclusion was kept under wraps, they couldn't celebrate their appearance in the movie and attend the premiere like Tom Holland and the rest of the cast. But, in news that will definitely warm your heart, apparently both Garfield and Maguire snuck into a public screening in the opening night of the film, both of them in semi-undercover outfits so no one would know it was them, and so they could celebrate the release of the movie together. When speaking about going to watch the movie with Maguire, Garfield said, "It was just a really beautiful thing to share together and to find a brotherhood with Tobey as well, and with Tom, and the fact that we do share a very unique experience." I'm not crying, you are, and it's because I still haven't seen it! While on the subject of No Way Home, after the news leaked that Garfield and Maguire would be appearing in the film, Garfield did a less than convincing job telling us that he wasn't in it and that we would all be left disappointed for over a year. Now, of course, the cat is out of the bag and the actor can speak openly about the experience, and he described lying to the public as stressful yet strangely enjoyable.
No, I'm not. I feel like.
And last piece about No Way Home before we move on, so people who haven't seen it can actually watch this video. Apparently, while Garfield was basically down from day one to reprise his role as Spider-Man, the one scene that completely sold him on returning was the scene where his Spider-Man catches a falling MJ. Speaking about the scene, Garfield said, "My Spider-Man got to save his younger brother's romantic relationship potentially, and to heal the most traumatic moment of his own life through doing it for his younger brother." Seeing as Garfield's Spider-Man doesn't have the best track record with saving falling women, I bet Tom Holland's heart was in his mouth during that scene. Too soon? Since the release of No Way Home, though, fans have been calling for a third Amazing Spider-Man movie to be made, and with rumblings that Morbius and Venom might be taking place inside the Garfield Sonyverse, and also seeing that No Way Home made a ton of money, there is a possibility that we could see that third Amazing Spider-Man movie. Garfield is apparently open to doing a third one, although he did say that the scene with MJ in No Way Home did provide him some closure and tie up some loose ends, saying, "It was joyful and a feeling of closure for me. There was so many unanswered questions for my Peter where we left it. I got to step back in and get some healing for him." Again, I'm not crying, you are. Okay, we're done with the No Way Home spoilers. While Garfield's run as Spider-Man was short-lived, his Amazing Spider-Man movies have found some new love recently, and his version of Spidey has found some newfound respect and appreciation. That is in part down to the amount of love and effort that went into his performance, with Garfield apparently watching the movements of athletes and spiders and incorporating them into the way that his Spidey moved, as well as engaging in Pilates and yoga so that he was physically fit and flexible for the role. Apparently, Garfield was so happy that he got the role that when he first put on the Spidey suit all the way back in 2010, he cried tears of joy as he had been a Spidey fan all his life. Another dream role for him was the part of Tommy in the movie adaptation of Kazuo Ishiguro's masterpiece Never Let Me Go, saying it was a dream come true for him. Andrew Garfield's energetic performance as Jonathan Larson in Lin-Manuel Miranda's movie version of the musical Tick, Tick, Boom has received rave reviews, with him picking up a SAG nomination for the role, something which he says honors the man that he's playing. When Garfield took on the role, he was going through a very tough time in his life after the passing of his mother, who was suffering from pancreatic cancer, but he said that playing the part helped him deal with his grief and face it head on.
I hope this grief stays with me, because it's all the unexpressed love that I didn't get to tell her. And I told her every day. We all told her every day. She was the best of us.
Like he did for Spider-Man, the actor dove headfirst into his research and went on a Jonathan Larson-a-thon so that he could understand the person that he was playing. But there was one issue about starring in a musical that he needed to address first. He had never sung before, except for in the shower. So the actor had to learn to sing from scratch, saying, "I needed to get my voice to the place where I could confidently and passionately sing to the back of the galaxy like Jonathan did. Reach the far reaches of the corners of the universe," which was what he was trying to do. Now, despite being a relatively private person, with the actor staying away from the likes of social media, he has had some high-profile relationships in his life, the most notable likely being his Amazing Spider-Man co-star Emma Stone. And while the two eventually broke up, they are reportedly still on very good terms. However, despite being on a film together, it wasn't until much later that Stone learned something about Garfield. He has a British accent.
Andrew Garfield's accent. This one. It's an English one.
While Garfield was born in LA and his father is American, his mother is from Essex, and he moved to the UK at the age of 3 and was raised in Surrey, getting his acting start in the likes of Doctor Who and London's West End. However, for the role of Peter Parker, Garfield stayed in his American accent even between takes, and it was only until after the movie that Stone, and admittedly a bunch of his fans, realized that he actually had a British accent. Speaking of staying in character, Garfield didn't only just keep his American accent during takes, but he would also play basketball with local kids while wearing the full Spidey costume. Footage online shows Garfield in his Spidey costume playing a game of pickup basketball in Chinatown, and I just think that image makes everyone's day better, doesn't it? Also, seeing as he's in a skin-tight costume that covers up his face, he's pretty good. Now, before he was an actor and pickup basketball player, Garfield was also apparently a pretty handy skateboarder and used to skate all the time with his friends as a kid. It was actually his experience as a skater that led to his version of Peter Parker skating in the movie, and Garfield convinced the director to let him skate. Not only was he a skater, but also apparently an accomplished gymnast, just like another Spider-Man, Tom Holland, as well as being a swimmer. Seriously, is there anything this guy can't do? Oh yeah, catch Gwen. I forgot. Now, while Garfield may be an accomplished actor, with him even picking up a Tony Award for his role in Death of a Salesman in his Broadway debut, he didn't always intend on making his way to the big screen. In fact, Garfield originally intended on taking a white-collar route and studying business. But in his teenage years, he caught the acting bug and never looked back, and aren't we all better for it? Andrew Garfield, Eddie Redmayne, and Jamie Dornan are all pretty big household names these days, but before they were famous, the three Brits were struggling actors who could barely make ends meet and would end up mostly auditioning for the same roles. In fact, the trio saw each other so often that they ended up living together for 3 months in LA, renting an apartment together where they would sit around comparing all the rejections they received. Apparently, when they would go to auditions, Dornan said, "We used to go to the Standard Hotel in West Hollywood and split a sandwich between us because that meant that we could get cheaper parking." Apparently, the gang would also foray into pottery, with Dornan saying, "We made plates and clay pots, and I remember we wrote the names of all these actors who were in our gang." Now, while the three actors often found themselves in competition, there was one role that they all really wanted and auditioned for, and that was the now binned movie adaptation of BioShock. Apparently, things got heated between them, with Redmayne saying, "We were furious with each other as we were going through it and competing for the same role." Well, I bet they're not too upset about not getting that role now, though. But again, before he made it big, Garfield needed to make ends meet, and so the actor reportedly used to work as a barista at Starbucks. However, he was apparently rather unceremoniously fired because he was sitting too much. I have never related to the man more. Now, we all have different ways of measuring levels of fame and success, but Andrew Garfield's is, to be honest, pretty unusual. Apparently, the actor ended up at a party at Prince's house after a successful audition and found himself in line to the bathroom in front of Salma Hayek and Penelope Cruz until he had to use the bathroom to puke. Now, while he didn't disclose why he puked, but we can kind of guess, he said that it was in that moment, puking in Prince's toilet before Salma Hayek and Penelope Cruz got in, that made him realize that he had made it big. Now, to be fair to him, how many people can say that they puked in Prince's toilet?
What is Andrew Garfield? What is he?
I heard about it.
I'm searching. I'm always searching.
I'm not the werewolf. And it's a Photoshop.
Oh, you almost got me.
You're the werewolf. You're the werewolf. Look at him. He's
No, I'm not. I'm not.
And finally, remember that time when Garfield blew up the internet when he kissed Ryan Reynolds at the Golden Globes? The two decided that Reynolds would move to kiss Blake Lively and then kiss Garfield at the last minute if Reynolds won the award, but Ryan Gosling ended up winning, so the two kissed anyway.